At a given probability of error, binary coherent FSK is interior to binary coherent PSK by A 6 dB, B 3 dB, C 2 dB, D 0 dB. The correct answer is 3 dB. In a TV receiver, the video if amplifier provides a gain of about A 5 dB, B 20 dB, C 60 dB, D 200 dB. The correct answer is 60 dB. Which of the following analog modulation scheme requires the minimum transmitted power and minimum channel bandwidth? A VSB, B DSB SC, C SSB, D AM. The correct answer is SSB. Switching systems. A are limited to small data networks. B require additional lines. C are not used in data system. D improve the efficiency of data transfer. The correct answer is improve the efficiency of data transfer. Which one of the following statements is wrong? The radar cross-section of a target. A depends on frequency. B may be reduced by special coating of non-spherical target. C depends on the aspect of target if it is non-spherical. D is equal to actual cross-sectional area for small targets. The correct answer is equal to actual cross-sectional area for small targets. Which of the following cannot be used to demodulate SSB? A complete phase shift generator, B product detector, C diode balanced modulator, D bipolar transistor balanced modulator. The correct answer is bipolar transistor balanced modulator. The power required to produce a gain of 10 dB over 4 watts of original power is what? A 80, B 40, C 0.4, D 8. The correct answer is 0.4. The inductance of connecting leads can be a source of A low frequency parasitics, B high frequency parasitics, C carrier frequency parasitics, D none of the above. The correct answer is high frequency parasitics. For F2 layer, the critical frequency is about A 500 MHz, B 100 MHz, C 25 MHz, D 10 MHz. The correct answer is 10 MHz. In the spectrum of an FM wave, A when modulation index is large, carrier frequency disappears. B carrier frequency cannot disappear. C amplitude of any sideband depends on modulation index. D the total number of sidebands depend on modulation index. The correct answer is amplitude of any sideband depends on modulation index. The reactance of bypass capacitor in a CE amplifier circuit should be A equal to the resistance in parallel with it, B equal to 10 or less of the resistance in parallel with it, C equal to 50 of the resistance in parallel with it, D independent of the resistance in parallel with it. The correct answer is equal to 10 or less of the resistance in parallel with it. In a radar system, the solution to blind speed problem is to A use MTI, B use monopoles, C vary PRF, D change Doppler frequency. The correct answer is vary PRF. For a FM wave carrier, modulating frequency is 10 kHz and bandwidth is 2 MHz. If the modulating signal amplitude is doubled, the bandwidth will be A 0.5 MHz, B 1 MHz, C 2 MHz, D 4 MHz. The correct answer is 4 MHz. In band 3 of TV, distant reception beyond line of sight range is possible due to A tropospheric bending by refraction, B reflection of waves, C ionospheric scattering, D none of the above. The correct answer is Tropospheric bending by refraction. In amplitude modulation, the RMS value of radio frequency voltage after 40 modulation is 60 mV. If modulation is 80, the RMS value after modulation will be about A 50 mV, B 60 mV, C 66 mV, D 80 mV. The correct answer is 66 mV. 1 GHz is equal to A 10.6 Hz, B 10.8 Hz, C 10.9 Hz, D 10.10 Hz. The correct answer is 10.8 Hz. Consider the following statements. A 1 only, B 1, 2 and 3 only, C 1, 2, 3, 4, D 1 and 3 only. The correct answer is 1, 2 and 3 only. Probability density function of thermal noise is A. Poisson, B. binomial, C. Gaussian, D. none of the above. The correct answer is Poisson. In a color TV receiver, F stands for A. Automatic fine tuning, B. Automatic frequency tuning, C. Automatic field tuning, D. Alignment frequency tuning. The correct answer is automatic fine tuning. MTSO stands for A. Metropolitan Telecommunications Subscribers Office, B. Metropolitan Telecommunications Switching Office, C. Mobile Telecommunications Switching Office, D. Mobile Telecommunications Subscriber Office. The correct answer is Mobile Telecommunications Switching Office. The main advantage of TDM over FDM is that it A. needs less power, B. needs less bandwidth, C. needs simple circuitry, D. gives better S/N ratio. The correct answer is needs simple circuitry. VLF waves are sometimes used because A. they penetrate the ionosphere easily, B. they are very reliable, C. they require low power, D. they require transmitting antennas of convenient sizes. The correct answer is they are very reliable. Which of the following is very useful as multiband HF receiving antenna? A. square loop, B. conical horn, C. folded dipole, D. log periodic. The correct answer is log periodic. Tuned voltage amplifiers are not used. A. in public address systems, B. in radio receivers, C. in television receivers for sound signals, D. in television receivers for video signals. The correct answer is in public address systems. If B is the bandwidth, the thermal noise voltage is proportional to AB, BB 0.5, CB 1.5, DB 2. The correct answer is B 0.5. ARQ stands for A. automatic repeat quest, B. analog repeat request, C. automatic repeat request, D. none of the above. The correct answer is automatic repeat request. In FM, noise can be decreased by a feature that AM does not have. A. increasing deviation, B. decreasing deviation, C. reducing modulation index, D. increasing modulation index. The correct answer is reducing modulation index. In case of stabilized reactance modulator AFC system, A phase modulator is converted into frequency modulation by equalizer circuit. B. the discriminator must have a fast time constant to provide demodulation. C. the higher discriminator frequency the better oscillator frequency. D. the discriminator frequency must be too low or the system will fail. The correct answer is the higher discriminator frequency the better oscillator frequency. In short noise, A. the current rises around mean value, B. the current rises to peak value, decreases to zero and then again rises, C. The current may become negative. D. The current is always less than the mean value. The correct answer is the current is always less than the mean value. In VCR, the chrominance signal's frequency is A. Up converted during recording and down converted during playback. B. Down converted during recording and up converted during playback. C. Not changed during recording and playback. D. Any of the above depending on VCR system. The correct answer is down converted during recording and up converted during playback. Consider the following statements as regards if in radio receivers. A 1 2 3 4. B 1 2 3. C 2 3 4. D 1 3 4. The correct answer is 1 2 3. Audio signal modulates a 125 MHz carrier causing a frequency deviation of 5 kHz. The bandwidth of the narrowband FM signal is kHz. A 10. B 8. C 9. D 20. The correct answer is 9. A channel has a SNR of 7 and BW 4 kHz. Keeping the channel capacity BPS same, the BW is reduced to accommodate more channels. The SNR A decreases. B increases. C remains same. D partially affected. The correct answer is increases. The output VR of the ratio detector is related with the output VF of similar Foster-Seeley discriminator as follows. A VR VF. B VR VF. C VR to V floor. D V floor to VR. The correct answer is VR to V floor. In grid bias modulation system, the power required for modulating amplifier A is negligibly low since grid is negative. B is large as compared to that for plate modulation. C is almost the same as compared with plate modulation. D is small as compared to that for plate modulation. The correct answer is small as compared to that for plate modulation. In spread spectrum technique, A modulated signal is modulated again. B a modulated signal is modulated twice again. C the power of a modulated signal is increased. D the noise component of a modulated signal is decreased. The correct answer is the noise component of a modulated signal is decreased. QAM stands for A quasi-amplitude modulation. B quadrature angle modulation. C quadrature amplitude modulation. D none of the above. The correct answer is quadrature amplitude modulation. The bandwidth required for amplitude modulation is A half the frequency of modulating signal. B equal to the frequency of modulating signal. C twice the frequency of modulating signal. D 4 times the frequency of modulating signal. The correct answer is twice the frequency of modulating signal. The smallest change in sound intensity that can be detected by human ear is dB. A1, B3, C10, D20. The correct answer is 3. Low frequency boost can be easily compensated by A attenuating the frequencies from 0 to 1.25 MHz. B using an appropriate de-emphasis circuit in the receiver. C using an appropriate pre-emphasis circuit in the transmitter. D none. The correct answer is attenuating the frequencies from 0 to 1.25 MHz. An MTI compares a set of received echoes with those received during the previous sweep. A true. B false. C. D. The correct answer is true. If E10 sin 10 8 T3 sin 10 4 T, then the deviation is A 4.77 kHz. B 47.7 kHz. C 477 kHz. D 4770 kHz. The correct answer is 47.7 kHz. When a complex signal is used to frequency modulate a carrier, the resulting sideband distribution is A. Symmetrical about the carrier. B. Not necessarily symmetrical about the carrier. C. Decided by the predominant sidebands. D. None of the above. The correct answer is symmetrical about the carrier.